Hello everyone, this is AJ from Foreign Admits, and today we have Anirudh Satpute, and he has done his MBA from IE School of Business in Spain. And so let's start. Let's hear from him without any further delay. So Anirudh, can you please tell us about your profile and why did you decided to go for your MBA?
Okay. Uh, Thanks a lot, Ashwini. To talk about a little about my profile, I'm a master's in mechanical engineering from IIC Bangalore, which I did in 2009. Since then, I've been working with automotive giants like Tata Motors and Bajaj Auto in their product development, R&D and product development department. I've grown into middle management or just entry into the middle management kind of roles is what I was doing prior to my MBA. Then I was like to get into higher management roles or get into a different kind of roles like product planning and strategy kind of roles. This MTech was not good enough, and so then this prompted me to think of going ahead with an MBA, and that is how I started planning to give my GMAT, and then started shortlisting universities, and then going ahead with the application process. So that was the thought process behind getting into an M. And then finally, I landed into IE Business School at Madrid in Spain.
So when did you started preparing for your GMAT, and how long did it took for you to prepare for?
Okay. This was in the year 2017. You can say mid of 2017 when it was a time when I actually decided that I'll have to give the GMAT. And it took almost three and a half months for me to crack the GMAT. I actually first gave a GMAT, and then I also gave my GRE. GRE was my I was actually trying to contemplate between whether I should be going with a PhD or an MBA. So that was a dilemma.
Okay.
So I was planning to give both the exams. So I just prepared for three and a half months, gave my GMAT, and within a month after that, maybe for one and a half months, prepared for GRE, and then gave my GRE also.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense. Yeah. So when you when you applied for your MBA, then how many schools did you selected, and where were those?
Okay, so I had one of my after talking to a couple of friends of mine, few of them who did their MBA in Europe, others other did their MBA in US. So economically and as well as the duration wise, I found European MBA a better option than the US MBA, considering my age, the amount of spend I have to do on the fees and staying, as well as the kind of exposure we get. So then I first shortlisted whether it is to be done in US or in Europe. The first shortlist was to get into Europe. Now, based in Europe, I had basically shortlisted all the top 20 colleges in the FT ranking. Also, in Bajaj Auto, we recently had got a policy called LEAP, which is basically sabbatical and higher studies support for higher studies kind of a policy. They had given a list of colleges. Basically, they were all the colleges also were from the FT rankings only. So then the topmost college where I had applied in the beginning based on my score was IE Business School. Then I thought I will be applying to other colleges like something in like HEC and then maybe Rotterdam in Netherlands. HEC was in Paris. These are the three schools I shortlisted in the beginning for European countries. Then in Asian countries, I had shortlisted I will be applying for NUS, and then maybe for an Indian college like ISB. So that was the plan. So I had planned for applying to 5 colleges. But then I applied to I was first because I could apply in the it was called the fast track application process. Deadline was earlier, so I was luckily I just submitted my application on the last day, and because it was in the fast track application, the first admit itself I had got from IE. So now when I got into IE, that time IE was ranked I think 8th or 9th in FT globally. When the world ranking was 9th. Then once I got into IE, I was like, okay, then I think I should, instead of trying to colleges below IE, that boosted my confidence, and I thought then, okay, let's apply to INSEAD. Then once I had IE in hand, I didn't apply to any of these colleges, Rotterdam or HEC or anything of that sort. I directly applied to INSEAD. And then INSEAD, I could crack INSEAD to be very frank. Because they basically need a lot of international experience. I had no international experience. All my experience was within India and Indian. I mean, all top OEMs in India, but never traveled out of India. So then I just dropped the plan because I was a very good college. I just applied to INSEAD, didn't get through, and then I decided to go ahead with IE Business School.
Okay, okay. So, so just like we know that MBA also has different specializations like supply chain, analytics, finance, and all those. So, did you also select a particular domain, or was it more kind of like a generalized MBA?
Actually, at IE, it is more kind of a generalized MBA. But from our batch, they had actually allowed choosing the specializations. But I could have done that. Majorly, my courses were more into strategy and operations. Basically, I mean, more focused on that. But then I didn't do my electives in IE Business School. In the European or the international business schools, we have an option of doing a long exchange wherein your electives period, we have core 1 and core 2 where your core MBA stuff is taught to you. When you go into electives period, we have an option to go to some other college that is based on your first term marks. You are allotted, there are options. I mean, people keep on going for long exchanges between colleges there. So I went to WHU in Germany for my long exchange. So I did all my electives in WHU. From August till December, from August till December, I was in WHU, Germany, which is in Düsseldorf in Germany. So there I did my electives. There again, yes, I had focused more on finance and operations as my major my major focus areas.
Okay, okay, nice. That's good to know that you did your MBA.
Sorry,
did your MBA from two different schools.
Yeah, that's right.
That's good to know that you did MBA from two different schools, like half of the coursework in Germany and half of the coursework in Spain.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, that's good to know. So, how's the internship scenario looks like, or how the post-study work visa looks like in those countries, based on your experience?
Okay, so basically, to be very specific, in Spain the situation is not good. People, there are no jobs for the Spaniards themselves. So people who are non-Europeans, it is difficult to find a job or find an internship in Spain. Comparatively, it is quite better in Germany, or I would say it is quite better in those countries like Germany, Netherlands, and those Luxembourg. These 3-4 countries, the situation is far better. Those people who join directly in German colleges generally find an internship for themselves. And in my case, I was offered an internship by my own organization, Bajaj Auto only, because I had taken a sabbatical, and I was offered an internship based on my performance in the first and second terms. So I was selected for the internship, and I had done internship in I had worked in 3 countries. In Spain, then I traveled to Italy, and then I moved to Germany. So in 3 countries, I actually physically visited and did the work, and I also analyzed the market of France. Basically, what my project was to build the entry dynamics for Bajaj Auto in Europe. So that was my internship project. So I was lucky to do that project, but it is almost next to impossible to find an internship for non-European in Spain. Germany, it is quite better than this.
Germany, it is quite better. Okay, nice. So you did your internship in European countries. So how was your experience in terms of working style in India as compared to abroad?
Okay. So working style wise, I would say we Indians are workaholics. Okay. And when it comes to Europeans, it is more kind of a work-life balance is what they focus on. It is a very good experience to work with them. Basically, on the personal front, when there is a lot of work-life balance, language is a major barrier because when you actually get into the market, I was trying to devise the European entry strategy for Bajaj Auto, wherein I actually had to visit a lot of dealerships and figure out and talk to the people who own the dealership or work in the dealership. So at that level, when you go at that ground level, language is a major barrier because I had that issue both. In all the 3 countries, Spain as well as Italy as well as Germany, because I could speak a little bit of German. I was not at all comfortable in Spanish or in Italian, so it was a difficult task. I literally struggled to even communicate 2-3 lines to them. I used to use Google Translate and no other option but to do that. So that is on the language front. I told you on the work front it is very good, but the people that ways are very open. They are open to new ideas. They are very what do you call? They are also eager to understand what is happening in the world, what is happening in the Asian part of the globe, basically. And that way, there's no issue with working with the Europeans as such.
Okay. So do you think that if a student knows these European languages before going there, then they have more chances of getting an internship or getting post-study work? Does that
Yes.
increase their chances?
Yes, that is going to help the students a lot. I myself,
Anirudh, you are frozen. Yeah. So do you think
Yeah.
that basically if a student knows these European languages before going there, or they have prior knowledge, prior language experience, like let's suppose if you are going to Germany, you know German a little bit, then or Italy, then you know little bit Italian. And do you think that having prior knowledge of these languages can increase your work visa chances or can increase your internship chances?
Absolutely. This is a very important point which you brought up. In any of the European countries, which are basically based on your industry and based on your personal interest, a student should first decide the country where he would like to target to find a job for himself or herself. And based on that, before even thinking of giving a GMAT or any other exam, you should start focusing on the language. The language skills is going to increase your finding a job, chances of finding a job by at least 3 to 4 times. 3 to 4 times, I'm saying, right? So if you are able to converse in the local language, if you are and then trying to find a job in Germany, knowing German basically at B1 level before even you think of applying to Germany is the prerequisite, is what I would like to stress on. And then by the time you get a admit and then you land up there, you should be finishing B2. And then when you start going there, you should be able to finish C1 and C2.
So what's the best part you liked about your university that is basically something different about it as compared to other universities?
Okay. There are two parts which I'd like to highlight about IE Business School. One would be the diversity. My cohort had students coming from I think 50 plus nationalities. 50 plus nationalities students are coming from in my cohort. And I was able to interact with almost everyone in my cohort. So I know after my MBA, I know what is the specialty of even a country like say Guatemala, which is a very small country, and I know what is so called special in Guatemala and stuff like that. I mean, how people, what people's expectation there is, what are their major problems, how their economies are going. At least at an overview level, I have got idea of LATAM, I have got idea of US, Europe, of course I have Asia because I come from Asia, so I've got an idea of it. So I mean, I've covered most of the part of this thing. That is the first thing. Second thing about IE is IE is very much known for its entrepreneurial journey. So people who consider themselves to be as budding entrepreneurs, or they are, you can say, currently are an entrepreneur and would like to try out entrepreneurship in future, IE is the place. We have a specific curriculum focused specifically on entrepreneurship right from day one, and that goes on till the last day. We have a lot of things going on. We have a lot of investors coming in. We have a lot of pitches happening. We have every week, every Thursday, we have 2 pitches. People not necessarily from IE, but across Spain, across the world, coming in and pitching in. Sorry, I'm so sorry about the disturbance.
That's fine.
Yeah. So every Thursday, we have 2 pitches by either internal IE students or budding entrepreneurs who are planning to get investment from venture capitalists or stuff like that. Every Thursday. That is, I mean, you just go and sit there. Every Thursday you have 2 new ideas coming to your mind. You can just build upon those ideas. Okay, and there is an ongoing process all throughout the year. 365 days it goes on, except for the holidays, of course, right? So that entrepreneurship focus is a very good thing. Either once you go through that thing for 1 year, you are very clear whether you want to get into it or don't want to get into it. Because entrepreneurship is one thing; it is not meant for everyone. A person who can do it will do it. A person who has gone through this for 1 year understands whether I am a fit person for it or I am not a fit person for it. It is after 1 year you are very clear what you can do and what you cannot do in entrepreneurship. So that's a major advantage of studying in IE Business School. Then it is not that only on Thursdays we have startup labs for 1.5 months. We are completely working on, if somebody is interested, he can start his own venture there in startup lab, work on that idea. We have industry professionals coming and guiding the students in the startup lab. People who do well in the startup lab are given an opportunity to do something in the venture lab. So that is the next step that is during the electives. You can take your idea into the venture lab, wherein industry specific and people from complementary industries also come and guide you, whether you're on the right track or whether you're digressing somewhere or you need to pivot something. So such ideas are again helped in the venture lab. So there's an annual competition on ventureship, and the winners are given opportunity both financially as well as a hub kind of thing to take their venture to the next level. So these are the two things which are the focus and the specialities of IE Business School.
Nice. So what do you think, what was the spike factor in your profile, or what was the most important factor in your profile that helped you in getting to IE Business School?
Okay. First thing is diversity. They need people from across the globe. That is the first thing. Second thing is probably my qualification and the kind of job I was doing, which was not at all related to management. So they need such people also who bring in a different perspective, which is not a typical marketing or a sales or a finance kind of a thing. I come from an R&D background. Before my MBA, I was doing a core R&D kind of a role. So they need a different perspective, and that helped me also in a lot of the courses, like in strategy and in operations. I could bring in a lot of value add to the class, to the cohort. So that I think was the major factor which they would have considered in my profile for shortlisting me into the cohort.
Okay, nice. So what's the work visa like once you finish the course? For example, how long it is?
Okay.
And what do you do to maintain it?
Okay. So in Spain, the work visa is for 1 year. So post completion of your degree, you can stay there for 1 year. That is the situation in Spain. Whereas in Germany, it is 18 months. But that is not a work visa. That is not a work visa. That is basically, both of these are basically your job seeker visa. So wherein you can stay there and find a job for yourself.
Okay.
And finally, the company which is going to hire you has to sponsor your visa.
Okay. And the work visa can be as long as you want it, right? There is no restriction for.
And the conversion from this job seeker visa to work visa is very simple. It is not that difficult. It is not financially tough also. The only concern is that company should be willing to sponsor that visa. Financially, it is not going to be very costly. Just that the company should be in a position to justify why it is hiring you and why it is not finding a person in the local market and why it should be hiring you. That is the justification it has to give to the government to sponsor your visa. It is not a costly process, and it is neither a tedious process nor a costly process.
Okay, nice. So, do you have any idea about the salary range that an MBA graduate gets after graduating in Spain, as well as once they come back to India, how the salary range looks like?
Okay. Typically in Spain, the salary range is around 60 to 75k euros per annum in Spain. Whereas in Germany, it starts with 75 and goes up to 100,000 euros and annum. And when it comes back to India, it depends on the kind of experience you have. People with lower kind of experience get around 18 to 20 lakhs is a typical salary range. When I'm saying people below the age of 30, and people beyond 30 of their age get typically start with 25 and go on up to 37, 38 lakhs per annum in India.
Okay. Okay, interesting. I mean, then basically going to MBA and then coming back to India, it's basically a useful effort, kind of like people can go and come back to India.
It is a very useful.
I mean, it's not gonna hurt you.
Not much.
Okay, awesome. Good to know about that. So how much basically expenses or how much money it takes to finish the program for 1 year, like from IE School of Business? How much money it takes?
Okay. So at IE Business School, the fees per annum is 72,000 euros. And typically a person could expect somewhere between 10 to 15% of an scholarship. And if your acads are really good, then generally people get up to 25 to 30%. So I had got 25% scholarship myself. So that fees is directly cut off. And on an average, you can say the course goes on between 10 to 11 months. The monthly expenses would be around 1,000 euros, a fairly decent amount of expenses per month. So that is 1,000 euros a month. So additional 10,000 euros is what you need typically. So approximately when it comes to Indian rupees conversion, it would be around 60 to 62 lakhs is what I had spent by living a very decent life. I never had to cook myself. I had a decent house. I also hired a cook for myself there because I'm pathetic at cooking. Baki everything I can manage, but cooking is not my this thing. So I had hired a cook for myself, and even after that, 25% scholarship fees and my monthly expenses, I had spent around 62 lakhs a max in Europe, wherein I had also traveled in between. Twice, once I'd been to Portugal, I'd been to Valencia. Then I had moved to Germany, and then I had shuffled between Germany and Spain also twice for obvious, my college reasons and stuff like that.
Nice. Okay, makes sense. So any final message for the students who are looking to pursue MBA from Europe? Any final message from your side to them?
I would say it is a wonderful experience to do your MBA. First thing, doing it from Europe is a further better experience because you get to know a lot of new things. The quality of faculty is out of the world. Even people from IIMs come to IE Business School and to WHU for their long exchange terms. Like I had gone from IE Business School to WHU, so people from IIMs go there, and the feedback from them is that the quality of teaching is out of the world. Here in IIMs and ISB, it is a lot of theoretical knowledge which is being transferred by the professors, whereas there it is a lot of practical things. You do a lot of things with your course mates. You do a lot of learnings from your professors happen, and the learning itself of staying in a different country, basically European country itself, is a big learning. So I would say it is a very good option, and you should go for it. Okay. So all the students who have decided to go ahead with an MBA, I would say it is the perfect decision you have taken. And depending on what your interests are, you should choose between Indian college or an European college. If it is a financial kind of a restriction, I would say go ahead with an Indian college because the fees here are obviously lower than what we have to pay in an European college. But the experience is out of the world in an European college, be it IE Business School or HEC or WHU. And if you go even higher, London Business School or INSEAD, the experience is going to be out of the world. So if you can afford it and you find a very good college which suits your exit goals post MBA, you should surely pursue that dream of yours. And all the best for all the students who are looking to do that. Looking forward to it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Anirudh, for taking out your time and sharing your experiences with our students, and I hope it will be very, very useful for them.